U.S. Catholic Magazine is a publication that promotes Catholic spiritual life in the United States of America. A new documentary makes a case for reviving the Sabbath. Sabbath is a spiritual discipline. Should it also be a social policy? And on February 2, 2024, U.S. Catholic Magazine published an article discussing the revival of the Sunday Sabbath and the need to observe this day collectively so that the community as a whole can cultivate a just and united social order. They also claimed that when it comes to labor unions, the Sabbath rest issue is now on the table. Basically, Sunday is being offered by Catholics here in America as the time for spiritual reflection, rest, worship, fair labor practices, reducing consumption and sustainability. Without a doubt, this is a call to make fundamental changes to our political, economic, and social systems. They are treating Sunday rest as an urgent matter that requires immediate action. It is an effort to challenge the current system through its transformative policies. They believe that by reviving Sunday as the day of rest for society, this would help alleviate the labor injustices and deep-rooted inequalities in our nation, as well as restore our worship to God. The Puritans brought an especially rigorous and rigid observation of the Sunday Sabbath to American shores, and in this their cultural influence outlasted their doctrinal dominance. Well into the mid-20th century, laws requiring businesses to close on Sunday were common in the United States. And so, in fact, in one of Sabbath's most surprising segments, we learned that Bergen County, that's where my wife grew up, Bergen County, New Jersey, a New York City suburb, has Sunday closings to this very day. In a 1993 referendum, the county's residents upheld the Sunday regulation by a 2-to-1 vote. However, Bergen County is an outlier. In the rest of the United States, most Sunday closing laws were abolished by a combination of business interests and secular liberals who argued that Sunday closings constituted discrimination against non-Christians. So throughout the 2 hours of Sabbath documentary, the word that kept coming into my mind was enough. Observance of Sabbath is a way of saying that there is such a thing as enough. Enough of work, enough of social media, enough of shopping, even enough of youth sports. Clearing away the noise and distraction of our daily lives can help us see and hear the presence of God among us. Sabbath may be personal, but it is never individual. It is an observance that a community does together, and one that has clear implications for the making of a just and sustainable social order. Historian Thomas Kidd notes that labor unions and churches have often worked together to advocate for days of rest, very significant. As a result, many labor advocates and even a few business leaders have begun to advocate a 4-day work week with 32 hours of work for no reduction in pay. In the recent United Auto Workers strike, this expansion of the Sabbath concept was one of the AU's demands. And so Roman Catholics are applauding these efforts to bring back Sunday rest. According to U.S. Catholic Magazine, the Sunday issue is still on the table. Are you aware of what it means to have something on the table? This simply means that the Sunday issue is actively being discussed and considered by certain parties. It implies that the matter is under examination. In other words, the Sunday movement is advancing through the shadows as inspiration suggests. And I got this article from Advent Messenger dealing with the U.S. Catholic Magazine article. And then here's a quotation from the author of the book Great Controversy. In this book, Testimonies, Volume 5, we read the Sunday movement, and this was written in the 1800s. The Sunday movement is now making its way in darkness. The leaders are concealing the true issue, and many who unite in the movement do not themselves see whither the undercurrent is tending. Its professions are mild and apparently Christian, but when it shall speak, it will reveal the spirit of the dragon. You can read that in Revelation 13, verse 11. It is our duty to do all in our power to avert the threatened danger. Look here, everybody. I'm here to tell you the Bible makes it very clear that in Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, that the United States of America will begin to speak like a dragon. How does a nation speak? Through its laws. And if it's going to be a dragon-like law and it has to do with worship, we have to ask the question, what is it? Well, Sunday worship by law, when Sunday observance is enforced, then the mark of the beast is issued, and everyone has to decide about the day of worship, either the seventh-day Sabbath according to the Ten Commandments or Sunday observance based on the Roman Catholic Church, their claimed authority. Okay, so let's go back to the screen. Rome has made no secret of its desire to see Sunday restored as a day of worship and rest. They are openly proclaiming Sunday rest as a necessary day for building a just society. According to Bible prophecy, the churches will have to appeal to the civil authorities in order to achieve their goals. Here in America, Catholics are now helping to promote the work of securing Sunday as the day of rest in order to save society. Sunday is quickly becoming the official day to reduce carbon emissions, reduce work stress levels, and worship. When the state begins to actively enforce compulsory Sunday observance, we know the end has come. What about Chick-fil-A? How about this article from The Hill? Graham visits New York Chick-fil-A to rail against Sunday openings. We need to have their back. Senator Lindsey Graham is speaking out against a New York bill that would require some Chick-fil-A locations in their state to go against their policy and stay open on Sundays, calling it a violation of the Constitution. This violates the Constitution. This violates the religious liberty of all of us, and the company called Chick-fil-A, who tries to honor the Sabbath, he continued, lend your voice to this cause. Stand up for Chick-fil-A. We need to have their backs. Very interesting. Look here, everybody. So we know that God wants us to observe the seventh-day Sabbath, and that's Saturday, not Sunday. Now, if you want to take a day off, take off Sunday, of course, that's fine. We can go to church 7 days a week, but there's one day that is the day for worship, and that is the seventh-day Sabbath.